Heroes, gather tribute and earn my favor.
What the fuck was that?
All right.
Yeah.
And welcome to the Gankbush podcast. I'm your host, Fringe Average, calling in again from San Francisco, California. So for those of you who are listening for the first time, we are the only explicit
Good podcast.
The only explicit Heroes of the Storm podcast where all the different co-hosts represent different play levels.
Say something explicit.
For example, we have a shitty player that says that he's gold, but he's actually a bronze. That's Tower Baron. All the way up to a Grandmaster level player. We bring you the latest hot news and discuss the latest tips and strategies so that you can become a better player. And also, we're the podcast where if you listen to us, you actually rank up in Hero League. You can actually grind up from a platinum all the way up to a Grandmaster, or actually a master level player. So we're the only podcast.
You're taking other people's hard work as credit. That's unfair.
Yeah,
they've been listening for a year or two, and they've all gotten better. So if you want to get better at the game, please listen to us and no one else.
Wait, so question. Wait, so Tower Baron not better? Has Fringe done better?
You guys have to answer that question for me. I say yes, but
I say if we see some Hero League games streamed, we know how much better you are.
Well, we're not at that point yet.
Okay.
But, all right, so let's go ahead and introduce our silver type player. That is Tower Baron, who's calling in from San Diego, California.
Good to be in the Nexus Fringe.
Okay, let's go ahead and introduce our Grandmaster level player, who's calling in from Buford, Georgia.
Hey, hello. Sorry for the late start, guys. I'm doing good. I haven't been playing much HOTS the past week. Been playing a lot of Warhammer 2. If you guys know what that is, it's the shit. But,
Is that Warhammer 2K?
No. Do you know Rome Total War?
No, but I used to play Warhammer like the tabletop game.
Yeah, but it's using that, lore.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a great game. But now I'm bored of it. I'm back to HOTS.
Well, the tabletop game is a lot of fun. I spent a lot of my early college and high school years playing that game.
Is that the thing where you like paint little miniature figurines and stuff?
Yes.
I didn't do that. Friends of mine did that. I didn't do that. I just played it though. I had the figurines and stuff like that, but I didn't actually paint and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and introduce our last co-host. That is All Backpack, who pulled a Tower Baron impression by coming to the show 10 minutes late and delaying the start time.
Oh, I thought when you said pull the Tower Baron meant get gold on Hero League.
Oh,
that's also bad.
That's good.
That was my fault. Yeah, I missed the time changes and shit like that. But also, I've been playing Diablo 3 a lot more because it's actually fun again.
Okay. And also, Old Backpack is a platinum level player. Okay, so let's get the housekeeping out of the way. So moving forward, we're going to be streaming on Thursdays, at least for the next 4 to 5 shows. Since we're at episode 90, we only have 10 left. So I think for the next 4 or 5, we'll do Thursday.
Wait, 10 left?
And then
what happens?
Also, if you listen to us on iTunes or Stitcher, please subscribe and leave us a review. That'd be great. Also, if you have any friends who play the game or listen to podcasts, spread the word and tell them about us. Also, we have a Win Time channel in BNet called Win Time, one word, Win Time. We also have a Gankbush Squad Discord. Please go there, check that out. Also, we have a Patreon. If you like to contribute to us financially, the money goes towards paying for the hosting costs for the website as well as for the podcast. Also, it pays for the swag that we've got for the listeners before BlizzCon, and also it also helped with the paying for Con Before the Storm because we actually contributed a good amount to that as well. So basically, all the money we get goes into the show or goes back to you guys, and or goes back to the HOTS community in some way. Also, we have a YouTube channel. There we post some replays. We also post segments of the show. So if you ever just want to listen to one segment again, you can just go to the YouTube channel. Lastly, you can find us, the podcast, and links to all of our content spots. You can go to gankbushsquad.com. You can also find the music that's being played. And this week we're playing Cold Hot Crash. They're a straight-ahead rock band from San Francisco. They only had one record, and that's it. And then they broke up. But it's actually one of my favorite records. It came out like 10 years ago, and it's actually one of my favorite ever. So, all right, and the last bit of news is Hero Physio, who basically came on the show for the first time maybe like 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago at this point. Actually, he actually did the last show when we were audio only. That was the last time. That's the first time he came on the show. But also, so anyway, he is now the coach for a HUC team for imported support. So congratulations to Hero Physio. And again, at least I'm looking for royalties because I think it's because of the power of the podcast is the reason why he got noticed and is now a coach for a HGC team.
Yeah, dude. Imported support. It's like Hero Surf Esports and Imported Supports. Those are the two open teams I was following because I know those guys, some of those guys on the teams, and yeah, it's good news. And just to have we have a surprise guest to talk about that. So let's welcome him onto the show. Oh, Hero. My name is Hero Physio. I am new coach for Imported Support. All right, Saskatoon Berries. All right.
What's it like up there in Canada, eh?
Oh, it's so cold. My nipples so hard I could rock diamond.
Is Panda Express still open right now?
I love sesame chicken.
Oh.
24/7.
That was good. That was really good.
Well done, baby.
I did not expect that. He did not let us in on any of that. That was.
I have a couple more things like that planned. I just need to implement.
Are they all
So
Hero
dumb.
Physio based?
No.
They should be. Okay. All right. So we actually have a good show for you. We're going to discuss the balance patch that came out a day early. And that involves talking about the support nerfs, as well as talking about the reworks for Sergeant Hammer, as well as talking about Zul'jin, Malfurion, Rhaegar. And we're also going to revisit the passive versus aggressive debate.
It's not what it was, but
Sorry.
Debate was much of a debate.
like the whole time, Backpack was just saying it's not about being passive, but
Yeah.
So we actually got some listener comments in the Discord channel as well. I actually reached out to Nurok, and he gave me a really long explanation and said that all Backpack is wrong, essentially. But we'll move on to that. And also we're going to do a team fight spotlight where we actually analyze how a team fight could go wrong or right.
no, it's not going to go right because there's nothing to talk about if it goes right.
Yeah.
So, but
You learn from failure, man.
okay, and then we're also going to answer a question from one of our YouTube videos about how to tank, and then we're going to discuss the latest brawl, and then we'll read a iTunes review, and then we'll never read them again after that, hopefully, because we're one away from 30.
Exactly. That 30 is very important to us. If we get that 30th comment, Fringe Average will stream all his Hero League games.
Yeah, well, hopefully not. I mean, we'll see. But all right, so let's get right into this now. Okay, so in the balance patch, supports got nerfed. Basically, they got their healing nerfed by 5%, their attack damage as well as their wave clear, all down by 5%. So let's go to our Grandmaster support main, Bacon, and ask his response about these nerfs.
When these changes were announced, Blizzard fucked up. Why?
Oh.
They posted the changes. They had to have known that the community would have, thrown a, a tantrum over this change. And then like a day or two later, they posted an article explaining their changes, right? Why didn't they kind of line that up together to kind of, right, quell some of the tantrum? Anyway, some of the drama.
Well, I think it's pretty obvious they wrote it that day when all the shit came out.
Mm-hmm. They're like,
Like,
oh shit.
No, see, I don't think so, because something like this, you don't just do it off the cuff. There's a team of guys thinking about it and, putting, implementing ideas and having office meetings. So, like, there's a reason for these changes, and they just, should have spoken to the right people and coordinated.
But Bacon, have you seen the ET finger light? ET finger light. It's
Yeah,
some office said, "Hey guys, let's sell a illuminated dildo and call it an ET finger light."
Yeah, okay, yeah,
Like,
I've seen that.
This thing passed QA. People make stupid decisions.
Anyway, they made a mistake. They tried to fix it, but I honestly think it's better for the game. We all know the typical esports in a HGC comp, like over 60%, 70% of comps has been double supports and double tank. And if we are to follow what the HGC does, and a lot of people have been doing that nowadays in Hero League, especially in the Grandmaster level, what it does is two of the slots are taken up by a pool of 15 heroes, because that's around the support pool, and the other two are taken up by a pool of about 15-ish, because that's around the tank bruiser pool, and not even all those. And out of all those tanks, there are some that are never used, like Chen, for example, and that one slot is always the hard carry role, and there's only like 4 to 5 heroes in a pool of 30, 40 assassins that are used regularly. So that's the ideal comp, and we're negating half the fucking roster just to support the meta that's going on. It's not healthy for the game. People like playing assassins. Double support, it's only 5% nerf. It's still possible, but you have to be more smart around the draft so that they actually fit in, because Rhaegar, there were some nerfs to him, so he has less all the supports have less utility now. You just I think it's good. Solo support will be more viable, and the reason it's going to be more viable is if we go from double to single, then it's worse, right? But the other team is also playing on the same playing field. So, if you're both just as bad as each other, then it's the same.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about your play from then on. But,
Exactly. You're right, because as supports get worse, then the meta just shifts towards, say, a double tank meta or double sustain meta. Like you have like a Sonya and an Arthas, people who actually keep themselves alive. You just shift the meta, or you go to higher burst meta. Like you just switch what's valued at that time.
Or it could all go worse, and then this whole thing turns into a wombo combo meta and a dive meta, and it's going to be cancerous just as much as the double support meta. Who knows? The game is, it shifts in meta like that.
Mm-hmm. That's fun, right? That's how you want it to be. You don't ever want it to be stale.
Yeah.
So when I saw the patch notes on Monday or Tuesday, at first I was like, okay, I didn't think much of it. I was like, all right, that's fine. They just got all nerfed, whatever. And then apparently, unbeknownst to me, the community just turned into like a big fireball of like, oh my god, what are you guys doing? And I think it's really funny. Yeah, exactly. And like a year ago or a year and a half ago, they were complaining about how they want supports to be more impactful. They don't want to be heal bots, right? So they go ahead on this journey to do that. And then they complain about how, and they buff supports so that they're the best character class in the game, right? And then they complain about how there's a double support meta because, two of the best character types in the game. Makes sense to have two of them. And they freak out about that. And then now that they nerf supports back a little bit. Maybe it's 5%. It's not really that much. and they freak out about that. Like, I feel as though because people are really upset about this, but like the thing is that if this fails miserably, right, they can always just revert it back, you know. So I don't understand.
They did say we're keeping an eye on healers individually, and if these changes, make them really bad, they'll tune the knobs of individual heroes.
Yeah, and also I would think that most of the people that are upset about this on Reddit, or at least commenting, or they have to be gold or lower, right? And no, the reason why I say that is because if you play Hero League, there's never ever double support in those, and maybe in Platinum. I don't play Platinum, but like if you go in Gold or Silver or Bronze, there's never double support anyway. So I don't know why they're upset about this. Like,
there's some double support. Usually double support is Tyrande.
Tyrande. I'll just heal myself. That doesn't count.
Or Tassadar.
Yeah. No, not Tassadar as much. More like Tyrande because we're dueling abilities.
So I don't think this is a big deal. Actually, I think it's a bigger deal if you're like BBJ, from Heroes Hearth, who has to adapt to new meta like a month before like the season starts.
Yeah,
but
I mean it's gonna matter for him obviously, but
of course, and it sucks for him for sure, and everyone else who plays. Who else is a professional player or also a anyone who's like in the Crucible. It sucks for all of them, but for everyone else, I don't think it's that big a deal. But Tarbe, what are your
Oh, sorry. Remember like 2 months ago when they buffed the hell out of Dragon Knights and no one noticed until Blizzard said, "Oh, hey, by the way, we buffed Dragon Knight 2 weeks ago." Like, oh, okay. No one noticed. Nothing on the subreddit. And then 5% nerf across the board. No, and they're going crazy about whatever.
Yeah,
well,
I think.
Are you saying, Baton, that we should just nerf them all and say then 2 weeks later, hey guys, for the last 2 weeks, supports have been nerfed?
Look, I bet if they did that, not many people would realize.
No. So, Tarban, what are your thoughts on all this?
I'm in the same boat as you, Fringe. I don't think it's that big of a deal for the games that we play. If you're talking about watching like HTC, I think that's going to be they're gonna have to change the way they play a little bit. But for like our games, I think it's not going to affect that much. I don't like how they nerfed the auto attack damage, like on Ana and stuff like that, because they weren't doing that much damage at all. Yeah. The wave clear thing I understand, for like Rhaegar, but like I don't get.
Did you ever think when Lucio was attacking you, oh, hey, that's a lot of auto attack damage?
Yeah. No.
Right. Why would you nerf that?
Yeah, Ana does like almost no damage. She's mostly just hits just to get her doses off. It's
24 damage to 3 damage, so 23 damage. So that's just a middle finger to Lucio players.
I think what they did was that they wanted to nerf all of them at the same time, so that no one could complain about like why is Lucio not touched while Lily got touched.
They buffed Lily's healing.
Well, Lily
was nerfed before.
Yeah, Lily was nerfed with these changes in mind, I think. So they were like, oh, that's too much now, so let's bring her up. But like, I think it's because they just wanted to do them all at once, let it settle for like a couple weeks, and then like buff individual players like Lucio, for example, and do it that way. That's what I think. I think that's what their thought process was with all this.
Yeah. And I think even just for watching the games of the better players, it's going to be cooler because not everyone knows what to do yet or how to play. So you'll see like new combos and stuff. I'm interested in that.
Yeah. And also the reason why Blizzard didn't like the double support meta is because, as Bacon mentioned earlier, like why go Thrall or why go Kerrigan when you can just go Rhaegar? There's way more utility that the support would provide than the melee assassin. So now we have an opportunity to have a whole new class of hero come back into the meta. So now we may see a Jaina now in more than 2% of games.
Yeah, you make a good point.
So I honestly believe that people just want to rage for no reason at this point.
Well, change hurts. People just like new.
And the thing is that like you should be happy. Like from what I hear, Hearthstone, it's like once a year or every 6 months they'll make a change.
That's the rule on the internet is 95% of people 90% of people are, browsers. 9% of people actually comment on articles, and 1% are actually content creators. So if you kind of take that into mind, it's only a very small fraction of people participating in these things, and those are always the vocal minority. If you follow sports, like I follow the Falcons, and on the Falcons subreddit, every time the Falcons do well, oh, the new rookie offensive coordinator, he's a angel from heaven, and then if he does well, we will fucking fire him. If he has a bad game, fire him. It's so reactionary and passionate like that. That's just the internet.
Yeah, it's just volatile.
Yeah, and the thing is that if you want to get rid of double supports, I think this is the only way to do it. I think. I mean, the other rationale could be like just to buff them even more, but I don't think that would help it. I think this is and also the thing is that I think what they're doing, they're just trying stuff out,
Mm-hmm.
So there's kind of like you have a Warhammer board and you're just trying out this one unit against this other unit just to see what happens. And if it doesn't work, then in the next game, you won't do that.
Yeah, and maybe 5% it is enough so that burst comps can actually, go over that hump and actually kill somebody before the support can do anything. And the reason, like I've seen a lot of people also ask, why now? Why not in 2 weeks when the new season's out? Blizzard answered that by saying they want to record data, take data for all these changes. That way it's not influenced at all by the new laning and laning changes that come into effect in 2 weeks. So that's why they implemented it now. It seemed kind of random, but yeah.
Also, Blizzard mentioned that back when they changed the tanks and added armor to the game, adding armor to the game effectively made healing better, but healing was never nerfed. And now it's finally nerfed to compensate for armor changes. So essentially, healing was known to be too strong, and they should have nerfed it way sooner, but they didn't want to make too many changes all at once. And now they finally did it. So it's been coming.
So they also said in the article that Blizzard, in regards to the response to the nerfs, they said that healers like that Ana and Alexstrasza, supports that really can't heal themselves, will be reevaluated moving forward, so that they can heal themselves a little bit better. Maybe.
Like
I mean,
Ana, it would be like if you hit your Q, like 10% of it, you would maybe self heal. That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be, I think, pretty strong though.
Well, I mean, like I'm sure, like actually, what's more fascinating about this whole thing to me is how the different teams don't really talk to each other. Like the balance team doesn't talk to like the hero design team, because they introduced Alexstrasza and Ana. Probably. I mean, I'm sure these.
It could be they were waiting for all these heroes to release and do it. It's just system-wide nerf.
If they knew that supports were getting nerfed by this much, they would have given Ana a self heal somehow. I think.
Well, these heroes take 9 months to make. So.
Oh no, I know. But I'm just saying,
just change things on the fly.
I think what happened in my mind, what happened was the Ana, whoever developed Ana and Alexstrasza, they would do that in their own silo, and then maybe a month before they got released, they're like, oh, like this is what we're gonna do to supports. Well, they're like, shit. That's my thoughts on it.
Ana in Overwatch can't heal herself, so it's pretty faithful to the Overwatch counterpart.
See, that's why I think that the Overwatch characters in general have not transferred over to heroes, is because I think they're too reliant on what they do in Overwatch.
They're tied to their origins, you say.
But yeah, exactly. Like ETC, who gives a shit? ETC is just like a dude or like a bull in Warcraft.
Tauren,
right?
sir. A
Sure,
Tauren.
Tauren. You don't even know that.
A Tauren.
A bull.
A bull. A bull person.
He's a Red Bull too.
Yeah. A bipedal bull person.
See, so that's why I think that like they're too faithful to the Overwatch origin stories or origins.
Well, I feel like they have to be, because some of the other characters in the lore from the other universes, not a lot of their kits are like figured out as much as Overwatch characters are. So with Overwatch characters, they're kind of stuck in a hard rock and a hard place because they have to keep as faithful as possible, or the community's gonna riot. So I feel like they've done a good job with.
Wait, what? Actually, let's take a step backwards. When has the community been overly happy publicly?
The brawl.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pool
That's a good
party.
point.
Everyone
That's a
loved
good
the
point.
pool party.
The pool party, the
Yeah.
Braxis holdout. The subreddit was blowing up with world record attempts. That was fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the last 12 months, those are the two highlights that the community's been happy about.
Well,
Is that-
Brawls.
when they had like the 2.0 launch stuff, that was a lot of happiness
People-
going around.
All
People were
those-
upset. No, wait. People were upset about that. They wanted more stuff, so they gave us more stuff.
I know.
that's-
The
that's-
global meta. People enjoyed that.
Well, when they initially announced the loot chest for the people who are already playing the game, they rioted, and then they're like, okay, we'll give you like 70 epic chests, so calm down. And then it was like, yeah, 70 epic chests. And
Anyway,
once it came
I
out-
feel
once it came out, it's like, I'm here from League of Legends, and HOTS is the best game I've ever played, and there was a lot of that. So it was good vibes going around. So
No, I agree,
feel like
but
you're cherry picking, a lot
I
of
think, yeah,
negative
he's just
things
upset
that-
and just.
no. I'm just trying to be honest. I just feel like it seems like every couple weeks or every like once a month we have a show where we talk about how the community is upset about something.
Well, that's
It was it.
the expected.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know.
It's the vocal minority, as Bacon said.
People that are happy with things, they don't post.
Yeah,
They're
I
playing
think
the game.
you
Yeah.
probably should. I'm gonna actually go on Reddit and like put like good vibes. Yeah,
Well,
because like
yeah.
I don't know.
There's always a couple threads every day. You just need to search for them and upvote them,
Yeah.
and
So.
be part of the 10% that actually participates on Reddit instead of just browsing.
Okay, so speaking of that, so ADRD, the mad scientist for Team Zealots, formerly of Team Expert, said on Twitter, "There goes supports. 5-man comps without supports."
But
I think he was being he was making fun of it. I think.
I mean,
so,
being hyperbolic.
Yeah, sure. So I think supports still have a role. I think that in general, if you're good with supports, I think if you're bad at support, then you'll be even worse. But if you know what you're doing, then you will be just fine. What do you think about that, Bacon?
What ADRD said about going with no supports, I've lost to no support comps in Hero League. So
Usually they get lucky
Like-
though. It's not like
no, it's like they stomp a
No
no
way.
support comp. Yeah.
No,
They
so-
go
so
full
ba-
YOLO with like a Diablo Greymane and some other follow-ups, and it's just like, how is this working?
So no, Bacon. I was referring to if you're good at Rhaegar, right?
Well, yeah.
These nerfs don't really affect you that much. For example.
It's gonna change up a little bit. You're gonna have to change your play style because some characters have had their utility really nerfed hard with Rhaegar's Lightning Bond and Malfurion's getting his minion talent removed at level 1. His new talent to replace that seems pretty good, but it's not about wave clear.
All right, well, let's move into that. So Rhaegar, he got his level 1 talent, Lightning Bond, removed, and I don't think. I mean, obviously, it makes him more. He provides less utility now because of that. But I still think he's fine if you go the Wolf Run talent, because actually, if you look at HUC, half of the pros go that talent anyway. Before this change.
Well, Rhaegar fits like that because he needs to go to where he's going more quickly because of the ganks and rotations that happen in pro matches. For us, soaking is better, and being a better split pusher if you can, or having better wave clear, since the coordination isn't there.
I guess so.
This really hurts like the plebs like us.
I don't think it's that big. I mean, it obviously hurts, but I don't think it's going to be that. I don't know. We'll see.
It goes from Rhaegar being able to solo like the siege camp's low level, with having like 70%, 80% health, and then he's gonna have like 30-40% health now. So
Yeah, but in 2 weeks, if you Star Step, then you won't take any damage anyway.
Oh.
but it's just not that camp; it's the other camps too.
I'm just saying, but like, and also the other camps, I don't think Rhaegar should be doing that by himself, unless like, at least until like the mid game.
Well, the
Anyway.
hard camps he can solo. I mean, he'll
Mhm.
take a little bit more damage, but it's possible.
Mhm.
And with the biggest thing is less DPS, more time spent out of lane, and more time
Yeah.
to clear whatever he's trying to clear.
Okay. So Malfurion, he got a brand new talent at level 1. Forget the name of it.
Celestial Attunement.
There it is. So I think that's actually a really good talent. What do you? I think Ganjagoon said that was. I think he said it was OP. But what do you think, Old Backpack?
It's weird that it's a reveal talent, right when the stealth will be forever revealed. So the reveal means a hell of a lot less. But it makes him deal more auto attack damage, which is, it's all right. Like, I want more wave clear, but they won't give him that. It's a fine replacement, put it that way. It's a lateral shift in play style.
Okay. I don't know. I think it's really good. I think it's by far the best talent now at level 1.
Oh, definitely, yeah, but it's not wave clear.
Well, well, you won't be able to use it.
Sorry guys, my Skype crashed. Thank you, Skype.
Well, and then Hero League maybe in a week or
Oh,
two.
we're all waiting for that.
Well, we haven't got the 30 yet, so we're only at 29, so we're not there yet. So, but Bacon, what do you think about the level 1 talent from Malfurion?
Hold on,
Anyone?
I think Bacon's shitting the bed right now. Give him a minute.
No, Skype crashed. Sorry.
Oh,
back,
okay.
though.
Oh.
What I think of the level 1? It's cool.
I'm sorry. What do you think of it?
How much damage does it amplify? It doubles his auto attack, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can kind of ninja duel somebody now if they're low enough. That's kind of cool.
Malfurion
before.
duel.
No, no,
Yeah.
duels.
Okay.
I mean,
Well, Lily got her healing
the-
buffed, which is good.
like, have you guys mentioned Tracer? Maybe W
Tracer.
Tracer, and then start auto attacking her, undodgeable. It's almost impossible to root a good Tracer. Now you can do something about it, pressure her out.
And Malfurion can do something about that. Also, that happened with the Hammer buff, who is also a Tracer counter.
So basically, what we're saying is Malfurion is now a Tracer counter, pretty hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Wow.
Okay.
If you're in range, even if Tracer's in it solo, you gotta use a Twilight Dream, always, every time. Don't
All
do
right,
that.
and
Some of the time do it, though. Some of the time it's okay.
But we could ask our friend Hero Frizio what he thinks.
Oh man.
Real Fizzy, what do you think about the Malfurion talent?
Oh, bye.
what?
okay.
I don't want to do it.
Those are trade secrets.
Wait, where did
Yeah.
that still come from? Did you just take like his podcast and just found the
I
right frame?
googled
or-
Hero Physio.
That's
Nice.
an image he
Yeah,
posted
that's
or
an
something?
image.
He needs to do a better job of SEO because that should never pop up. Well, that's another story. All right, but Lily, her damage her healing got increased. So who is if you're playing Hero League, Bacon, and you had to choose you had first pick and you had to choose a support. Suppose you're on Curse Hollow. What's the first support you're going with right now?
Brightwing, honestly.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What if it's
Brightwing, Rhaegar
yeah.
still good. Lucio, depending on your matching. Malfurion. Lily's okay.
okay?
Morales.
So Taraban, what about you? If you're on Curse Hollow, for example, at the lower levels, what are you picking first pick overall?
Just to reiterate what we talked about before is that I don't think it changes for most players around my level or gold and below. But I'll take the gold. I'll take
huh?
the gold.
Okay.
See that little emblem by my name on the bottom of the screen there?
Bacon's
Yeah.
trolling you. don't you get it right now? It's a troll.
It's not a troll. Everyone else
Okay.
is legit.
Controls
Mine's
Physio.
legit.
That's it.
I Brightwing just because the global.
Okay.
I think.
I still think Lucio is probably now the number one support at the lower levels, especially in
Why
the
is
silver
that?
and bronze.
Like,
Excuse me?
mind stating why?
Yeah, why
Because
is that?
there's no focus damage, and Lucio has the ability to heal everyone and then give everyone a sound barrier. Actually, what's funny is that I was able to play with Hero Physio and some other really high level players. I was playing with Tower Baron actually, and we're playing with number 30 Grandmaster.
Those games were insane.
Those games, so
Like,
those games are like if you're out of position for even for half a second, they all pounce on you and you're dead. And that doesn't happen ever at the silver or even gold level. So there's a lot more displaced or more unfocused attacks.
well, we have a comment from Hero Physio.
Grandmaster, I'm at the platinum level. I don't know what you're talking about.
Is that a new level? I haven't heard that.
Platinum!
So how does a
Bye-bye.
platinum level player become a?
Uh,
Bring him
Oh,
back. Bring
you
him
wanna-
back.
Bring it back.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
How does a platinum level player become a coach of a HUC team, one of the 8 best teams in North America?
Arata Viagra? Bereave in yourself?
Reef.
Yeah.
Do you put the Viagra directly into your asshole, so it
Every
gets
time.
absorbed faster?
Only half
Yeah.
half at a time. Too much.
Ooh.
One hole. Bye
It's
bye.
because is that because other things are half as big as they should be? Anyway. So old backpack. Since you play at the platinum level, so for a upper middle tier, what are you drafting now for support? In Hero
I
League?
never do support, but as Tower Baron said,
Well, you've
you wanna
played
bet this out.
you've played Uther before. I remember that.
I have played him before. Yes, I don't play him very
Yeah.
often though.
Yeah, he played the character, but he didn't play it well.
Yeah, he's talking. Like white man can't jump. You don't hear Jimmy, that kind of thing.
All right,
I
I
don't
got
hear
it.
the support. But I think it's the same for us. It won't change at all. Like the double support meta happened about maybe a third or half the time, not very often. So it wasn't nearly a thing. So I want to bet this. I still think the best supports are said Rhaegar, Lucio's, and maybe Morales. She's still really good.
Yeah.
I still think that if you're in team league on a 5-man team, if you have 2 support players that are pretty good with their support play, then double support still works. If you go like Rhaegar, Alex Straza, or even
Go for it.
so
Yeah,
it's still very
definitely.
viable. So,
but
I think
apparently, okay. Do you guys know about the Malfurion Alex Streza pairing?
no.
No,
There's an
What is it?
anomaly in Hot Slugs, and I don't know if it's just Hot Slugs, but the games I've played, people seem to be doing the pairing up. Alex Straza has awful win rates when paired with every other healer except with Malfurion, and it's double the win rate of all the other healers. We're talking going from 40% to like 70-80%. It's weird.
Why do you think that is, though? It seems like what does Malfurion have that synergizes with Alex
A
Straza so
long
well?
hot
Well, I mean, doesn't that
to
work with
keep
like?
Alex Straza high.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't work with like Stukov or anyone else like that. Lily, no.
He also has the
Anti-dive.
anti-dive tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Hero Physio coming in with the save, with the root.
Anti-Dave. Yeah, anti-dive.
All right, so if you're playing team league, go Alex Straza, Malfurion 1-2, and you should be fine.
Yeah. And also the cooldown reduction on Malfurion, it won't hurt. Give him some mana. Give her some mana too.
Yeah.
So, what is everyone's thoughts on the new meta that's going to occur? I think there's going to be the burst meta again. That's what I think is going to happen. I think it's going to be more like it won't be as overt as the like ETC Toronto thing, but I think there's going to be way more burst in the game now. I think like the Jaina's is going to come back. Also, like the self-sustain characters like Arthas and Sonya will have way more viability now. I mean, Sonya's already has a ton of viability, but like I think Arthas now takes a big step up. I think ETC takes a step up too. What do you guys think about the new meta that could spawn from this?
Yeah, I see it being back to the 2-tank meta. Because the tanks still have armor and it's still really good. I feel like we're going to go back to that, which was actually my favorite meta.
You're all
Well,
about
I mean,
tanks.
first of all, we've had the 2 tank meta for a while though. It's been 2 tank, 1 hyper carry, and then 2 supports for the most part, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the two, I mean, that's what we called it back then. Probably it was 2 tanks, 2 assassins, 1 healer. Going back to that.
All right. Well, what do you think, Bacon?
The new meta, I think it's gonna be solo support. With I don't know if you guys said it already. I wasn't paying attention, but sorry. Solo support, solo laner bruiser, solo laner / bruiser, tank. Yeah, 2 backlines, specialist,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, the classic. I might go back to that. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, also, if you're a melee assassin main like Grizzly, now he actually has an opportunity to showcase his true talents.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think overall, I think we all agree this is a good thing.
Yep, I agree.
Yep.
Screw Reddit. Like you heard it here first. It's a good thing. Change is
Well,
good.
actually, I think we're like the last podcast to go live. Everyone else goes on Tuesday or Wednesday, so you're hearing this like last. All right. So Hammer got reworked. So what do you think about this rework? All backpack.
Look at old
I liked it a
backpack. He has
lot.
that wry smile on his face. This whole
Hey,
time.
I like that a lot because Hammer is finally being a tank. They gave him a whole new ability. Wait, why is there a hero physio picture over the monkey on our logo?
Wait, that's a monkey?
Oh, you know what? We could make that like the next year's BlizzCon shirts like that.
Yes.
That would be
Nice.
That'd be cool if import support's actually at BlizzCon participating. We actually have that. Like, I'll actually set up a booth and hand them out for free. If that's happening.
Yeah, you see, like Gankbush loves import support.
Mm-hmm. We'll get sued really fast if we do that because they're probably like owned by like a real team or like a real org. We can't do that. But anyway, let's go back to Sergeant Hammer.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. So they made his CJ ability his actual talent now, and
That's
they
what
gave
they
him a
should have
brand
done the
new.
whole time. They should have done it the
Yes.
whole time.
Yeah, they gave him a brand new bonus talent of you press E, you get 25 armor, or if you're siege, you get 50 armor. So like it's just way more sustained.
That's that same talent as Tychus had, I think, right? Neo
It's
steel
the Neo
plating.
Steel Plate.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah. But another thing to mention is that his trait when he goes into siege mode, it no longer does only bonus damage to structures. It does bonus damage, period. So you're highly incentivized to be in siege mode
Siege
during
mode.
team fights, which is kind of scary. Just
50 armor is insane.
it's insane, but you also should become a sitting duck,
Okay.
right? And
Yeah.
they want you to have this sort of this tension of, do I be in siege mode and fight this out in siege and deal more damage and get hit more, or do I go, Jim Laner and just auto attack?
We gotta try this out after this podcast. We have to bring back like ETC Hammer.
Well, you need to get Morales Hammer because this way you can sit there and be okay.
Morales and ETC. He zones pretty well.
Yep.
Because we
Yeah.
haven't played. Because you used to play Hammer all the time when they buffed him, where you were like kind of stutter stepped with the auto attacks.
Yep.
That was like what, 4 months ago or something.
Oh yeah, maybe 6 months ago.
Yeah, I have not seen a Hammer like ever, except maybe on BOE or something, like once or something. That's it.
Yeah.
He's playing
So-
Korea.
So with the new changes coming out in 2 weeks, is Hammer now viable in this new meta?
He's definitely not unplayable.
Yeah, he
I'll
got
say
a
that.
huge buff. But like you have to ban Chromie first. Stitches counters him, Garrosh counters him, Artanis
Why do you
counters
keep
him.
saying him?
Oh, you're right. It's a
No,
tank.
she's transitioning to being a man. That's why. You didn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
She already does a guy's job. Oh.
Oh.
I'm not caught up on the lore,
Wow.
guys, of the Nexus. I'm sorry.
That's funny.
You're right. It's a her.
Yes. Sexists.
You heard it here first.
Okay. All right. Well,
Well, do you think Chromie's can do that much damage if she's got 50 armor in siege mode?
Yeah, because the Q happens too often. The Q happens every 3 seconds. The armor happens every 16.
Yeah. And it's not like Chromie's the only source of damage. You know, you
Yeah.
can bait out the shield.
Mm-hmm.
So,
All right.
Yeah. Like, there's a lot of counters to hammer still.
Wait, are there any of the new talents that catch your eye that looks pretty cool besides just the?
the Unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest, it seems like they want you to have ways to play around. Like before, if you were Hammer, you were either auto attacking and you took a big risk when you sieged up. And if you were sieged up, you definitely knew you were safe. You had healers behind you. You had PO behind you, right? You were there to do the damage. But it seems like with now, there's some play around to you being a little bit more dependent. With the Unstoppable, you still have a way to quickly jet out of the battlefield if you're going to press your Z. And, you know, it just seems like the Hammer now has more control in siege mode, which, you know, she definitely needed.
Mm-hmm.
But viable in pro play? Nah. Viable in Hero League? Yeah, a little bit more, yeah.
could you? I remember like a year and a half ago, we would do like the like have 2 tanks, like maybe 2 support and 1 hammer, and just protect the hammer and just siege up. And can you do that? Can you do that now with this new hammer?
Sky Temple, Dragonshire, BOE.
No, Braxis was the most popular one, where you just take out their forts like right in the beginning. Can't do anything.
It's possible.
Is Morales' hammer now a good thing? Could that like be used for cheese?
They've always been a good thing. In my
They've always been good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, is it more of a cheese now?
It's never. I mean, there's counterplay. It's not cheese. Like you know how to counter it. Get a stitches, get a swap, get some sort of range DPS like Li Ming. There's ways around it.
Okay.
I mean, if you 4-5 pick in the draft, yeah, you can kind of screw them over.
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. So overall, I think Blemish tried out the new hammer and he didn't. He said that he was very like meh about it.
Well,
But he's a bad.
sieged.
Well, I mean, Blemish is a bad doctor though, and he just like was in top of by himself. So what does he know?
The harm is practice.
Yeah. Oh, he's at work right now anyway, so it doesn't matter. He's not hearing this anyway. But okay, so it sounds like Hammer should be better. How much better, we don't know.
We're gonna try it after the podcast and let you know.
All right. So a quick question about let's speculate very briefly. Just one word answer from everyone. Which character gets the next rework? We'll go to Old Backpack.
Jim Raynor.
You stole mine, you bastard.
Tara Baron.
Jim Raynor.
Bacon.
Very
Ooh.
Oh. Fringe.
I think it's Tyrael.
No more multi-class. Get that shit out of my face. Just fix him.
It is kind of a trash grouping since there's no one. I guess you could say Medivh is maybe a multi-class a little bit. He kind of fringes on support a little bit.
I want his 10. I want his 10 to move to 1.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like
then
Karazin
he's
picks
useful.
his trait.
Yeah.
Yep. And lastly, is that also Sonya, her poison spear got nerfed. The damage got nerfed, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
But I think now with this latest change to supports, I think Junkrat will become very good, and then he'll get nerfed in a couple weeks.
Very
Junkrat
good.
has been played a lot in the Gold Card World Championship.
Oh, I
I'm
know.
surprised. Like
Oh, I
20
know.
games.
He's got so much poke, you know. He can delay like forever, you know.
Yeah.
Even if you are down a guy, you can just poke in the early game with Junkrat and totally be fine.
And
He's
we
got
experienced that there
decent-
too.
You know, he's got decent like team fight control with the mine and root. He's got a huge wombo potential with the tire. So it seems like they're trying to find a place for him. It's just that he's so squishy, they get blown up. He gets blown up so
Yeah,
I gotta watch those games because all the games I had was Junkrat. Like he's junk.
No, you should like
He's
Rich
a
played him.
Junkrat.
He's
Yeah,
a junk
Rich
rat.
played him against Fnatic at least once. But I really believe that if these games were happening on the regular HUC schedule, like more people saw this stuff, like Junkrat would be played a much more in the next week or two. But
Regularly.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure. So, all right. So anything else about the patch at all?
No,
I found out
Racist.
Tychus's minigun costs mana.
Oh, you actually said that. You actually said that publicly, huh?
Yeah. Hey,
Wow.
and Johanna's Iron Skin costed mana before. Who knew this? Like,
I
I just
knew
press
that.
D.
I
It's
knew
always
this.
there.
No.
I knew this.
Read the
Wait,
I never
tab
knew it.
description.
Mhm.
I don't read things. What am I, Asian?
You're a doctor.
Yes.
I read the important things.
What's funny is that old Backpack may be a better doctor than Blemish.
Oh.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, called out. In
Yep.
a public space where he can't defend himself.
Yeah, I know.
Mhm.
It's the best time to do stuff like that. Is to
Yeah.
call people out when they can't defend themselves. That's what a true adult, a true gentleman does. A man of high esteem will do that.
You must be learning a lot from our great president. Then.
No, I learned a lot from Hero Physio because he coached me up. Oh,
Oh,
Oh.
snap.
yeah, there it is. All right, so let's move on. We're going to talk about we're actually going to revisit the passive versus aggressive debate we had in the last show.
Yes.
Oh.
So we've actually gotten feedback from
Yes.
win timers as well as from a pro player. But let's I'll backpack. Do you want to start it off with the responses and win time, or do you want to go to Bacon on this? What do you want to do?
How about we say what we originally said and then talk about how it developed from there? Like,
Okay.
Let's recap where we were and now where we're going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So
I think
what-
you should start with defining the terms you're going to use. What does passive mean and what does aggressive mean? I think
Okay,
that's a little
so
bit. People are kind of caught up on the terminology. You know what I mean?
no, so passive is really in your positioning and how far forward you want to play in order to deal damage to your opponent. Like, do you try to kill them or do you try to not die from them? It's how far forward you go and how aggressive you play. How forward is your positioning when you play?
Yeah, how much risk are you taking? Like you have a risk of dying when you play more
versus risk of
aggressively.
killing.
Yeah, the higher risk
Yeah.
of dying.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the passive aggressive sort of continuum that we're gonna scale back and forth on. I'm gonna play Gem Rainer like I'm Kerrigan, or I'm gonna play Gem Rainer like I'm a Siege Step Hammer. The last one being out of auto attack range, and the other one being way too close for auto attack range. That did
It's a recap, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
yeah. So my point was, when you first play a new hero, you want to play that character on both ends of the spectrum of play them like a Siege Hammer and also play them like a Kerrigan. This way you know that, wait, playing Cassia at Rainer range is shitty versus playing Cassia at Kerrigan range. It needs to be done in very, very small attempts when you're going for dives. But you really need to play on both ends of the spectrum of very passive and very aggressive and find out where you can actually thrive at. And Bacon, your side was, you can explain your side.
Bacon's
Well,
like,
this
fuck
is-
all that.
This is already assumed that you have like a basic grasp of the hero and the talents and the role the hero's playing. So this is where I'm coming from. Now, if you're going to get better at a hero and get better as a player, then your switch always needs to be on aggression. And with that switch on, you push it as far as possible at every chance you get. And when you fail, you learn from those mistakes and gradually step it back or find another way with that same aggression at succeeding at what you're trying to do. And the reason I say this is aggression is the name of the game. You get ganks, better rotations. You're paying more attention to the minimap because you want to find moments to actually kill somebody who's caught out. You get better team fights because like there are a lot of moments where like a gray main would dive in and get killed out. Well, that's obviously a mistake, but there are also moments where a gray main just dives in kind of YOLO style and he comes out survived surviving with 2 or 3 kills to his name, and those are the players that have that switch flipped on and also played enough Greymane to have the mechanics of, oh, I can get away with this against these heroes, because you have to play a lot of games with this switch on to get a feel for him. And that's why I'm coming from. And if you play passively, you miss chances, right? You're like a fringe average. You're just kind of sitting. Sitting in the lane, like while there's a team fight going on half the screen away. I'm sorry, I just had to include you in this conversation.
Yes,
but
I approve this.
That is why I say always have your aggression turned on, and it's the best way to get better more quickly.
All right, so Tarabrand, you actually posted in the Discord and read the other Discord responses. So what are your thoughts on what we talked about last week?
Okay, so for last week, I think we kind of veered off the aggressive per character. I think Scott kind of took it as like aggressive as in team strategy. It's like he doesn't want to wait until they come in to the towers and then hopefully they can get picks that way. He was kind of extending the whole conversation to team strategy. But if we're just going to focus time. Oh, okay, he was just drunk.
That was part of the reason why he was like, no, aggressive.
Well, the question I have is for Bacon is that when you're aggressive and you say you'll instinctively know when to kind of dial it back, how are you going to know whether to dial it back? Because we have this Voldemort type character player who's always going to dive in, and then when he messes up, it's always the team didn't follow me. So they're always going to be at that too far aggressive level.
But
you have to.
He's the kind of player where he's not gonna be self-critical.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like
it's a mentality thing. Like,
exactly.
I'm gonna be aggressive, but I also realize I'm not gonna be 100% successful, and in those failures, I'm gonna look at the replay or whatever I need to get a better feel to what to do next.
Yeah, because I think that's an important part, and we'll see this in the team fight spotlight segment we're gonna do. But if you dive in and you're aggressive, you have to know whether you were right to be that aggressive or you were wrong to be that aggressive. You know what I mean? It can't always be, well, I was aggressive and the team didn't follow me in, right? You have to kind of be objective about it with your own aggressiveness in play. You have to kind of determine why, your aggressiveness didn't work in this particular situation, right? To have feedback.
Well, that's also part of the win condition that we talked about a couple of weeks ago. So, I mean, if your win condition is you're behind 2 levels, a talent tier or something, and they're about to get the objective that wins the game, your hand is forced, you have to go YOLO, take big risks. So that's a form of aggression. You could also be aggressive in split pushing, while your 4-man denies. You're being aggressive by sticking in another lane or double pushing a lane out, 2 lanes out. That's another form of aggression. It's just, but by always having that aggression on, you're looking at the minimap, you're aware of what's going on the macro side of the game. That way you're always in position to take advantage of the situations you see. Because a lot of times minimap is where it's at.
Yeah, I know you're a big person about the minimap. But I'm just saying
it's all there. Minimap.
It's all there.
You can make more than half your decisions just by looking at the minimap.
But I was just commenting about the aggression thing. It's not just being aggressive. You have to go back and look back at the team fights where it didn't work out.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're going to be right to be aggressive and still lose because of your teammates and stuff. And sometimes your teammates were on point and then you were just over aggressive and you have to dial back your play, right? There has to be that feedback loop. You know what I mean?
Also,
so I think that wasn't really mentioned last time.
It could be big swaths of macro play. I just shouldn't have been there. in the first place, or it could have been things like I didn't realize that the ETC had slide up, so when I was Murden trying to jump away, he slid me out of my jump. Things like that. Like that's a very minute detail, but it also teaches you to pay attention to the enemy team in terms of their cooldowns. We all pay attention to Mosh Pit, like, he just used Mosh for the next 2 minutes. We can fight all we want because he can't Mosh us. But, there are other big abilities that the enemy team possesses with short cooldowns, like Stitch's Hook, for example. So these are things you pay attention to and learn over the course of hundreds of games. We all have thousands of games under our belts, but we can all do a better job of breaking down specific matchups that we're having trouble with on characters that we want to get better with.
Yeah. But I think when Bacon says play them as aggressive, once you have a firm grasp of the character, play them as aggressive as possible, and then kind of go back and forth between being too aggressive to too passive. We both agree on that sort of process. There's a fine tuning that happens.
Yeah, when you're learning the hero, we're all the same way. We barely know what's going on in the game because we're trying to figure out what the QWE does. So once we're past that stage, what I'm saying is we're constantly pushing, always in a state of push. And
I don't think anyone disagrees with that. I mean, you have to challenge yourself to improve, right? And no one's going to argue against that.
The issue with staying back and not pushing, I don't want to keep. I feel like I'm repeating myself, but if you sit back, poke in, do damage, and not die because of your passive play, your numbers look good, but your effectiveness in the overall game isn't there. So it's just kind of pretty numbers. Yeah, I'd rather want a Greymane that died a couple times, but he has 10 kills and he opened up the map for us for us to do other things.
Yeah, did you see the Grubby game where he actually has to unbind his ET on Cassia because he was playing her way too aggressively? I mean, at that point he played better by playing more passive. He actually removed his dive tool. Say, now what? Now I'm going to fight with only auto attacks and Qs. He has to play the character a lot better. But that's went way too far. But then he will gradually bring it back in.
All right, so I asked. I actually sent the clip to Nirok, and he actually reached out. Yeah, Team Liquid Nirok. Sorry, he's the ranged flex maybe for Team Liquid. And this is what he said via Twitter, so it's actually pretty long, but I'll read it. Playing overly aggressive is the same method I use. If I want to learn my limits on a new hero, I play very often without any respect, not backing off, and just fighting until death. Since I am always making use of this, I only recommend this technique. So he's saying to always be overly aggressive.
Yep.
So he says you want to depending upon, obviously it all depends. If you're like, let's see. He says, this is what he says. Yes and no. It depends on your hero, your draft, enemy's draft, map, XP advantage or disadvantage. You usually don't want to take fights which you don't have to. Example, you're on Sky Temple, enemy team has 0 keeps left and you have all 3 up. So basically you don't fight there unless you have to because you have the advantage. You have more to lose from that engagement than they do. So he goes on to say, so you just want to play the map and not go for an all-in fight, which could possibly lead to a comeback for the enemy team, which is what I said. Playing aggressive or passive is situational. Playing smart is the best way I can phrase it. Also, another important point is, if you're the hyper carry for your team, i.e. if you're in a double support comp, it's crucial that you keep telling yourself that you're the key part of the lineup and should not. Okay, sorry. It's crucial that you keep telling yourself that you're the key part of the lineup and should try not to die, unless it's a real favorable trade. If you're very far behind, either in XP or structures, and you don't see a lot of comeback chances, you need to play as aggressive as possible to take any chance you get as a team.
All caps, exclamation points.
Yeah. And,
as a team, be aggressive.
It's also, he says it's better to do that before you're 5 levels down. Also, he says tons of people are scared of fighting 11 or 12 versus level 13 because of their talent tiered advantage. But often it doesn't matter, in my opinion. People are afraid of numbers and overvalue some talent tiers. If it's 19 versus 20, then you should definitely dodge a fight. But he's all...
you could dodge a fight, but
yeah, you could
that's
dodge a fight.
Yeah.
But then he says, but don't be a pussy.
Yep.
So, but then I asked him...
Who said that before?
They can say it to
They can
old
say that
backpack.
before.
Don't be a pussy.
Oh.
Yeah.
But
that's what he said.
so I asked
agree
him.
with you.
I actually asked him a follow-up question. What about 14 versus 16 or 15 versus 16? And basically what he said was depends on how far you're behind and how big the 16 tier is. It says it's always about taking the highest percentage chance of a positive outcome. So there are a lot of factors involved. So basically what he said was if it's 12 versus 13, then just take the fight. It's not that big a deal. Then once you get to the 16 talent tier, then you have to be a little bit more thoughtful before you engage, essentially.
Yep. And my point is, you look at the mini map and you can read what's going on the battlefield, right? And see which team has the advantage in terms of the macro, and then in terms of figuring out who has the highest winning percentage chance of winning. That's kind of it. You have to develop that over time. You don't know exactly if you do a 5v5 who's gonna win all team fights. So that just goes into your own ability, your confidence in executing what you need to do. So that's just grinding out the games on that hero.
Yep, agreed. So thank you, Nurok, again for taking time out of your day and lowering your standards and answering my Twitter questions.
Does Nurok want to be the fifth man in this little hero physio spot right there? Put him right there and have him, him on the show.
I told him already via DM. I DM'd him saying if you ever want to come on, just let me know. You have an open invitation. I don't know if I should just flat out invite him to like a specific show or not. I don't know.
You should stand him on.
Yeah.
He's already willing to comment for us and be our voice of reason.
Well, all right. Well, we'll see. Well, maybe I'll invite him to the next one. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll take maybe I'll do that. We'll see.
Yeah, be aggressive, man.
Push
yourself.
Came back.
Can't
full
let it get
circle.
stagnant. Push the show's limits.
I think to be honest, before we get like another pro player back, I want to think of how to make this what the show should be. I want it to be like something special, but we'll see.
We are special. We're the
Oh, you
Gankbush
mean
Squad.
being on the show is special? Yeah.
Yeah, see?
Oh,
Get
damn.
him on there.
Damn. Looking
Okay.
good.
Somebody guessed this show.
Yeah,
see,
we
that's
got
a beard, guys.
We got 4 Asians in the house, 5 including me,
Hey, this guy can replace
6.5 including you 3.
Yeah.
All right. I guess is there anything else to discuss with the passive versus aggressive? Oh, I almost forgot.
You
Almost
said
forgot. Is that it's hard to play aggressive if you're at the lower levels. I mean, if you're a solo gray main, you can totally maybe work on your own and get kills on your own. But if you're like a tank, it's hard to be really aggressive because the assassins a lot of times don't follow you up. Don't follow up the kills you set up and stuff like that.
I don't think that's as much of a lower level thing as it is just not being on comms. I think
It's a bit of both.
It's a bit of both, but I think the bigger thing is that you're not on comms and the response rate isn't as high for lower levels. So I think if you were on comms and said, okay, I'm going in on this character, like you'd get the response you want.
Oh, there's Nurok there. I like it.
You didn't notice that? I just said like he replaces Scott as the white guy in the show.
I didn't notice that. No, I'm
Yeah.
actually looking at the show notes and focused on that.
Oh.
But I like this.
Yeah, right?
He
See?
was reading, right? He needs 100% of his attention.
Yeah,
He does.
exactly.
That reading's hard.
Yeah.
Gotta have
No,
a little pat off the sweat.
What I will say though, is that I'm not sweating.
Wait, you have a tissue in your hand ready to do that?
That's kind of
Where'd
gross.
that prop come from?
I got tons of props over here, you know?
What else do you have near you? You have
Uh,
a fake floppy ear or something like that?
I got some rope, some velvet rope.
Yeah, Nurok,
What?
you should come on the show. This would be an honor for you to come
velvet
on.
And I have a muscle electrostimulator.
I have that too. Right here.
Okay.
I have that close by.
Yeah. There. Muscle palpitator.
That's right. My workout in during the show.
Me too.
Switching my shit up.
What I will say is that seeing high level players play. If someone's if ETC sets up a kill, then the Greymane will kill that character that got set up. Mm-hmm. Even if they're not on comms, that just happens instinctually. And maybe it would help out at the lower levels. We'll see, but we'll see.
That's
I don't know.
Because the Greymane's always waiting to be aggressive, as Bacon says. He says, "Okay, where's the opportunity? Where's the opportunity?"
Exactly. But like the Greymane,
He's
the Greymane, like in Silver 3, isn't doing that. Even if ETC sets up a kill, like that Greymane will get a kill in a mosh pit type of situation, but that's about it.
Yeah, and he'll miss the first 2 seconds of it, saying, "Hey, wait a minute."
That's what it is. It's like the low response rate. It's like, oh wait, he just moshed. I was looking at other stuff. Oh wait, I better hit this person.
Yeah. So
that could all be fixed with comms.
Well, that happened in our Sky Temple game, which we're going to show on the show, right?
Yeah, let's.
Well, we don't know what happened with our other teammates.
All right, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and transition to the. All right, we'll say goodbye to Nurok, and then we'll switch over to the team fight spotlight that took place on Sky Temple.
I can give a little intro for the segment since this is a new segment. So I was thinking for the show that in our games, a lot of the outcomes come down to one big team fight near the late part of the game. I would say in at least half the games. Half the games you either stomp the other team or you get stomped. But the other half comes down to a big team fight at the end where maybe you lost, even if you're up in numbers, you still lose, or you lose a 4v4, and then it ends up kind of costing you the game. So I was thinking we should have a segment on that since it comes up all the time, and we should do analysis and see where are we messing up.
Who does that remind you of?
For those listening. Those who are listening to the podcast,
we could put a beard on him.
So Bacon posted an image of a stressed character has to press a button that says "reading out loud." please watch the video for this one.
For the record, though, I'm not stressed at all.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Yep. That was pretty cool that you got that on the fly. But here's the team fight. We played me as the Orc, the Bruiser Tank, and then Old Backpack as Muradin. And we played some other win timers too, with Stukov and.
Wait, I'm ETC.
You're ETC. I thought you were Muradin.
You're Muradin.
Oh yeah,
right,
I am.
I'll play this. So it's level 16 for our Gankbush Squad versus level 18 for the enemy team, and it's the keeps, 3 keeps versus 3 keeps, and a really low fort for the enemy team, right? So Leoric just died, which was Tower Baron, and that kind of gave the okay go for the enemy team to start boss. And the top shrine is active, but no one's on it yet, with a top lane red merc camp about to push and put pressure on the keep for the Gankbush Squad. So if the boss is captured, then it's going to put a lot of pressure on the bottom keep, pretty much almost a guaranteed keep for bot, and then the enemy team will go up top shrine and get the top keep. So it's, bad situation all around if they get the boss. So going into this fight, there's a few things to know. So in the fight before this, for Leoric to die, Brightwing had to use whatchamacallit? Emerald Wind, yeah. So the team knows that's down, and there are some abilities that help control the boss spawn. So, Stukov's flailing swipe, Gankbush's flailing swipe, it's off cooldown. It's on cooldown, so they can't use it. Horrify was just used for the Gankbush Squad. That's a really good point control. It's off cooldown. They can silence the point, or Alarak from the Gankbush Squad can use telekinesis. So there are a few, little tricks you can do, but the two big cooldowns that you can use to control the boss point are down. But
so it sounds like you have to take this fight anyway, even though their cooldowns are not up yet. So
Hero
the big
Physio
thing is
thing's a little bit different.
the enemy team has Mosh Pit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing with Divine Shield. Personally, like if you're behind this fight, like they're gonna get the boss. I know Hero Physio doesn't agree with me. For me personally, how I see it is they're gonna take the boss if you don't contest it. They go up top. They'll definitely get a keep, and then they'll get the level 20 advantage, and then who knows what's gonna happen from there, right? So my opinion is they're gonna get 16 right now and take the fight, which you guys end up doing.
Yep, that was our thought. We were losing kind of the whole game,
right?
And we saw a chance to fight them on even talent tiers.
And kind of Muradin's positioning, boss is like at 20% health. Leoric's kind of draining ETC to set up the fight. But the biggest thing is the two main damage dealers, Gul'dan and Alarak for Gankbush Squad, are not even close, entire screen away, right?
Yeah.
So what happens? A couple pings happen, but the ping is happening while the Muradin is already engaging. So I feel like that's already too late. You should ping, have the team respond to it, be in position, and then you go in for the team fight. But the team fight's already happened. You can already see.
Yeah, the damage is
And right
there.
here, yeah, the damage not even there. They're just taking free damage. He's forced to pop
Avatar.
And unfortunately, I definitely checked. Muradin has jump right now, but he is a little late on that jump. Yeah. So they take the boss anyway. So now they have the
that's
boss.
the lag I have, by the way, just so you know. I should have been there sooner, but yes.
I mean, it is.
I know.
lag, but
I
also
know what's
the boss,
happening. I know.
The boss is dying. Anyway. So the Gul'dan and Alarak for the Gankbush are late, and the boss is taken. So if the boss is taken, there's no point in fighting this anymore. Unless you get an immediate fight, 5-man team fight, and I don't think that's really going to happen with the cooldowns that are up right now. So right now, the longer you team fight the enemy team, the more value the top lane enemy mercs get, right?
I agree.
They're pretty much hammering on the wall right now, and the boss is already making his way to an undefended keep. So this is a lose-lose situation unless right now you get the 5-man wipe. But what happens? So Stukov walks up for some goddamn stupid reason and gets blown up by himself. If you look at the boss point, Boxy Gaga is the Stukov. Ends up dying, the solo support of the team. Leoric does a really aggressive E into, the Kel'Thas right here. And Old Backpack is joining him, trying to get the back line. And what happens is, since Stukov is dead, and Stukov even had failing swipe off on cooldown, so there's no point in him staying alive for the backline peel. But the enemy ETC and Greymane just walk up for a mosh pit and engage and completely push out the 2 damage dealers out of the team fight. While the Muradin and Leoric, yeah, that was a pretty good D shield, by the way, on the KT.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So double support. Leoric's dead. Muradin's by himself. Nothing's gonna really happen. And yeah. So what happened? Why?
Wait,
what
so
I feel like is they were late.
Yeah.
What? Go ahead.
Do you think the positioning of Alarak and Gul'dan through the top between that basket and the wall of the wall there was good to go through that junction. Like they came through that way. Through the top.
For Alaric, yes. Gul'dan, no. And what I would also do is, since the boss is taken, the fight's already happening. The Muradin moves back a little bit. Leoric kind of, ease into the back line and keeps them busy, but the Muradin's needed for the peel right now. And what Stukov does is go even further left, maybe left of the bush, right?
Yeah.
And stands there ready for the mosh pit or the circling arm, because he's one of the few cancels right now, because he needs to be safe. If I was that Stukov, that's where I would be.
Yeah.
Because he's looking for it right now. If you see right now, he slides in and mosh pits, and then if the Stukov was right next to that bush, he would be ready for that E.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So do you think, 'cause in this particular team fight, Muradin plays pretty aggressively, right?
Yes.
Do you think that was like warranted aggression, or like in hindsight 2020 probably shouldn't have gone in there or have waited a little bit?
Waited. There's enough time.
Yeah.
Matt, you're muted, by the way.
Yeah, French, you're muted.
I'm muted. I've been muted this entire time.
Yeah.
No, what I was saying is that if the assassins are there, then I'd go in and fight it, because YOLO.
You had the time for like 2 to 3 seconds for the Alaric and Gul'dan to come in before you engaged, and that was the biggest thing. And they were late to the fight. ETC was able to get the split off on him, and
It sounds as though that the tank player premature ejaculated.
kind of feels bad to say, but yes, both tanks. And some takeaways, the map communication, right? Mini-map communication.
Yeah, the earlier ping.
Yeah, earlier ping, that way the assassins know what's going on. And then I also think Leoric's talent choices, you're going the ARM build, right? I think the Animus Ref build, the one that, if you walk through people as ghost form, you do 50% less damage, right?
Yeah.
At level 13.
Yeah.
I think that would have been more beneficial here.
I think so too, up against KT and Greymane.
The ARM build is really good if you're going against like double tank and you have to solo lane and things like that. Yeah. But there's a lot of burst damage on their side, and they're pretty crowded. On that point, you can lower their damage and burst a lot.
Yeah.
And if you and Muradin were kind of fighting as you're retreating and using Ghost to do that and help with that retreat, maybe this could have been a different fight.
All right. Yeah, that's about what I thought.
Yeah. And I think Gul'dan should have gone Q build.
Or Q build.
Yeah.
More poke, more safely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you actually remember this fight, Old Backpack?
I do, yeah. I remember I jumped in early because I thought, okay, they're about to take boss, so we need to actually have the boss deal as much damage as possible to help us out in this team fight. Even though it was premature because our assassins weren't there yet, but we needed to, try and be aggressive and force this fight, because if they got it, we certainly lost the game.
Yeah.
Wait as long as I could. I see the boss at 20%. Say, shit, we have to turn this on.
Yeah.
They
they weren't even mounted up.
Yeah, I know.
Alaric and Gul'dan weren't even mounted up.
I know.
I
If I had jumped sooner, it would have been worth fighting over.
Both of them were just walking over.
Yeah, I know.
You could also have had when this boss right now is charging up his attack, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You could have stepped outside that charge, and as soon as he finished that charge, just jump on the point and have Stuka flicking arm that point and just kind of do a last stand over there.
That should have been done.
I mean, there are a few options, but the biggest thing that hurt you too was you two both diving in equally hard and leaving the backline exposed.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
All right.
like, let's say you jump on that point on time, that fight is completely focused over that point, and ETC is not concentrating on the two backline anymore.
Exactly.
It
I
could've
know.
been that
If I had jumped
simple
on there
too.
sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah. I should have anticipated for that. Better.
And if there's any listeners out there, go to email us any replays that you want us to analyze like this.
Yeah.
We promise we'll be nicer than, I mean,
I
we're mean
don't.
to-
No. This is good because we're not really saying old backpack. We're saying Murden, right? We're kind of detaching.
Well, even so, like I take it with a help of it's healthy criticism.
You learn
It's
more
good.
from your mistakes than you do from your victories. Like that's,
Exactly.
Yeah,
But
and then we were down, so you had to play more YOLO. We kind of discussed that.
This
so that's
this
kind of the
was a
mindset.
pretty YOLO thing. Yeah.
It was our
Maybe
last
a little-
stand, right?
So this is too YOLO, what I was talking about. So you gotta
Yeah.
take a step
Back
back
it
a
up.
little bit, you know.
I think though, if this was like a team league game, I would just give them the boss because of the Gul'dan and Stukov didn't have their ultimates. I would just try to play to 20. I'd concede all 3 keeps and just play to 20 and just have one last team fight.
Yeah,
Concede all 3 keeps, huh? That's ooh.
That's what's going to happen to get to level 20, to be honest. So, but that's what I would do. If I was in a coordinated team, I would just say, you know what, let's just get to
Well,
20.
let's play it out. I mean, they get a keep or 2. They get level 20 first, and
Yeah.
they win this top shrine phase. So they're gonna get the shrine, and then the clock's gonna start. And you're at level barely 17 at this point. So it's gonna be
Yeah.
a 20 versus 19 when the next shrine happens. And at this point, you don't really have the shots to absorb. Like, let's say it's a double shrine phase, you're kind of screwed. You lose the game if you're forced into a 19-20 fight.
No, this is what I would do. Give them the boss, just defend the boss in bot lane, and if they fight you, then they fight you. Then the same, talents here, but they have a boss, but you have keep, and just kill the boss. And maybe they don't go with the boss, and then they just go to top, and then if all 5 members are there killing the boss will be dead before the keep dies, I think. So then they rotate to the top shrine, they take out the top keep, and then you just wait until level 20. I think by that point you lose both your keeps, but you're still alive and you still have a shot, because at that level, at that late in the game, you can definitely win a team fight and just take out a keep and win the game. So
Really? I thought
I mean,
that's
that sounds like a
wishful thinking.
much bigger risk than
Yeah.
boss fight.
yeah, but the thing is
In
that
which,
yeah.
they started the fight if the
Decent.
2 backline assassins were there to join Murden,
Mhm.
right, in that fight.
But they weren't there though. That's the thing.
I mean, let's
Yeah.
say, right, that
If
is
they
a
are there,
favorable.
then yeah.
That's a favorable fight because the enemy team is in the middle of engaging a boss, so the boss is working against them, right? So it's more
Yeah.
like a 5.5 versus 5 right now. But I mean, this is all hypotheticals we're going around. So and this is the last time you get a team fight in the same talent tier, most likely. So I think you got to take this fight.
Yeah, I think if the Alrock and Gul'dan are there, then I'm way more inclined. And if Gul'dan has his ultimate, then I'm way inclined to do it, because a lot could happen.
yeah, of course.
With that. But if I saw the mini map and I saw that Alrock and Gul'dan are walking towards the boss, then I just can't do it.
we weren't looking at whether they were mounted or not.
Also,
but-
the mini map shows their face, not the
I
horse
know,
they're on.
I know.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying in hindsight, if I was on voice comms, I don't know. Again, if they're there, then I fight it, but they weren't there. But
I'm not sure if I've ever played this wind timer before, but Boxy, he had the lowest vocals. His vocals were lower than he was like. I couldn't really hear him.
He's a librarian. That's why.
So,
Yeah. Well, he should play Malfurion more often.
Oh,
Silence.
nice.
But
yeah, we were on calls,
definitely,
but that was never communicated.
definitely, if you're a win timer and you want us to break down a team fight just like this for you, and you have a team fight that really confused you on why the events happened that way, please send them to us with the timestamp of the team fight. You could find the email Gankbush Squad
Podcast at gankbushsquad.com.
podcast at gamepushsquad.com. And I was gonna say one other thing. Shoot.
No dick pics.
No, yes, dick pics, but also send a
Oh.
replay. One dick pic per replay. That's the rule.
Oh man.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the limit.
Yeah, I think this is really cool because a lot of times when you lose a team fight, you're thinking, did I fuck up or did my team fuck up? Right? And so when you go back and look, you can find out who really fucked
And
up.
in this clip, everybody fucked up.
Yeah. To be fair though, for the
me.
most part, it's a little bit of everyone.
Yeah.
No, seriously, for the most part, everyone fucked up a little bit. It's never like, I mean, unless you're like in silver and you're playing Hero League, then there is one person to blame. But for the most part, it's everyone could be a little bit better, is what I've found.
Yeah.
So again, if you're just listening to the audio only, you actually want to see the replay for yourself, just go to the Twitch channel and then and we'll have timestamps in the show notes at gankbushsquad.com. If you just want to go watch the video for yourself, please go to our Twitch channel and you can watch the replay there. Okay. All right. So we actually got an email, or not an email, but we actually got a question from a listener on one of our common tank errors video. And this is what he said. He asked, do you have any advice if you're playing a slightly squishier tank like ETC or Diablo and your backline isn't focusing on the other team? For example, if Johanna actually was in the smoke during the shrines and the opposing team approached without Johanna's teammates changing their focus, would you suggest she just take the damage and throw in the scouting towel? If you take the damage, how much damage would you take before trying to escape, especially for a map with a lengthy objective like Volskaya?
Yeah, so what he's talking about is in the Johanna How to Tank video, there's a fight happening for the shrine in the middle of the map. Sorry, at the bottom of the map. And there's little smoke bushes to the left and right of the shrine. And so Johanna is sitting in that bush, and the opposing team is still in the lane beneath her. So they're not actually helping her in the bush. And so the enemy team approaches, and they're like, do you back up, or do you actually stay in the bush and try to anchor that spot? And so what I say is, you only anchor points where they can actually help you defend it. Like, you shouldn't be there holding a point that no one's helping you fight with. So if you're a tank, you're always with a damage dealer or a support, preferably a damage dealer, so you're actually peeling for someone and they're actually trading damage into them. So if you're playing a squishier tank like ETC or Diablo, those two tanks are essentially cooldown based tanks where they have one gen setup, either the slide and the W or the Q and E. And so you can't, if you use that on a target when there's no damage to follow it up, you essentially wasted your whole cooldown. So you just yield the bush. You only use that combo to set up a kill. If there's no one there to get the kill, back up. You see the ground, wait for your team to come back and join you, and then fight for that bush control later.
Yeah.
Fight for that bush
Why would
control.
you even take free damage like that when your team is
Exactly.
not going to help you? Just walk away. There's no
Yeah,
point.
throw
You know
in the
where
scouting
they're at?
towel.
I mean, they walking towards you. You know where they're at. You've scouted them. Now run away. Get your ass.
Yeah,
out of
exactly.
there.
You-
Bring 4 other members with you to take care of that. And then I don't know. Like, did this guy call Diablo a squishy tank?
Yeah, I know. I saw that
did.
too.
too.
Yeah, I
Well,
know.
a zero
Alright.
soul Diablo, I guess.
0.
Yeah.
So okay. I mean, yeah. But typically
Yeah.
it's 100 soul Diablo, and they're gonna wreck your
Yeah.
face.
No, I almost didn't read Diablo because it didn't make any sense to me. But I was like, well, whatever. I'll just read it
ETC
verbatim.
is fair, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anubarak is fair too.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. So lastly, so the latest Brawl that came out last week is pretty good. I think we all agree with that, right?
Really good.
Amazing.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
really cool. I think it reminded me of like Streets of Rage.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think I think the next iteration will be to have different spawn points for stuff, so that the map isn't like the same no matter what. But I think it's really cool. I'm really glad that they're experimenting with stuff like this.
It should be duration based, where the difficulty gets higher and higher the longer you're out there.
I think so
That's what I
too.
like. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick,
I think-
it's since it's the Nexus, there's no like grounded lore in it. Besides, it's just a place where all the lores converge, so they can literally go anywhere with this. So I'm excited for the opportunities. And like, what kind of gets me is that they didn't announce this amazing game mode like at BlizzCon. What's up with that?
Yeah.
I mean, they announced
missed
like
opportunity.
that pirate brawl last BlizzCon. And we kind
Awful.
of like played it for like once or twice. Like, oh, okay, and then
I think it's
passed
because they're not entirely sure that what the reaction will be. I think that's what it was.
I
I don't know about that. They have testers. They have. I think it's pretty much unanimously liked by everyone.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I actually had
I
I think
I
a friend of
was-
mine who's starting
Go
out,
ahead.
like he actually didn't win the brawl. He actually ended up like his team ended up dying to the Zerg. It didn't
I
make
died as a 5-man stack on comms
Wow.
because it was my like
Wow.
second time going through it, and we were trying to Zerg rush it. So it
Mm-hmm.
was just that bailing room where they got us.
No, he like not just one person died. His team got wiped and he didn't finish.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not just the entire team.
Yeah, we got kicked out and we had to restart.
Oh, dang.
But I think the reason why, like, I listened to Core and Bo or Gorath from Core, I think mentioned this, that it seemed like a labor of love because there are some bra modes, like the Spider Queen ARAM map, right? That it was just one or two dudes on the team, like when they were off of work, like after work, just having extra time, they put this map together. And it seems like this game mode was probably born the same way.
Oh, awesome.
So it's like, imagine if this was finished and ready to go. Like, I'm sure they wouldn't announce it at BlizzCon, right? But just like,
Well, whoever created that, they should get a raise. For
Yeah.
creating that on their own time, like something that's
they
completely
opened
different.
Pandora's box with this kind of stuff.
I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it's. I'm glad that they're experimenting.
Also, they have a new brawl, the heroic Escape from Bratsis, so it's probably more difficult now.
I think it's the
Yeah.
same. It's the same exact thing. Just they just hit harder and have more health.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was the number one complaint, I think, from most people, is that it was too easy, so it killed the replay value.
Yeah. But all right. So again, kudos to Blizzard.
Yeah, well done.
Lastly,
See? No flames.
So lastly, me,
Way harder.
Bacon, and Scott yesterday participated in the Nexus feud with the Nexus trolls, and they gave us the video. I think we're gonna put it on the YouTube channel. I believe. I don't know yet. I have to figure that out. But if you go to their show, their podcast, they'll actually have the audio form up there. I don't think we're gonna add it to ours. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't decided yet. But anyway, thank you again for the Nexus trolls for allowing us to come on the show and beat you pretty easily.
Yo, we stomped
Wait.
the shit out of them. Man. Not even close, mother effers.
Wait. So you're saying if I was on the show, you guys could have still won?
I think we would have lost if Tower Baron was there.
Yeah.
I'll screw you guys.
Tower
It's
Baron,
so
who has
funny. Like at the last segment, Scott and I had 4 out of the 5 answers the same. It was so funny.
All right. Tower Baron, which caster has the best hair?
Jaina.
What?
Caster?
Caster.
You mean like mage caster? You mean podcast caster?
Oh my god! See,
Human
we totally would
caster.
have lost. See, we would have lost easily.
Wait, that
Caster
was-
as in, esports caster
Yeah. Who has the best hair?
out of the HOTS team.
out of the HOTS team, Jay Howe.
Yeah. See, we would have lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would have lost easily. So I'm really
Oh
glad.
God.
What was it? There was a Caldor.
It was Caldor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Caldor.
You got like 70% of the vote or something like that.
Oh man, that's because they're trolls, man.
I think from what I'm told is that a lot of our listeners filled that out. So maybe that's probably where it's coming
The
from.
number 5, the 5th most popular answer for that segment was none.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, something
Or
like
something
that.
like that.
Oh, you can have a none answer. That's bullcrap.
No. There's a lot of people who said none.
Yeah,
So,
10
Yep.
people apparently.
Yeah. But
Caldor.
People are assholes. No one has good hair. I have the best hair.
it was a lot of fun, and we're gonna go back again whenever we're gonna go up against the Heroes Power Hour in the next episode. So
Oh, is
stay
that
tuned
confirmed?
on that. Well, that's what they said on the show yesterday, right?
Okay.
Wait.
We don't know. We don't know when yet, though.
At the end of the feud, did you do that you need 2 people and then you do like the final part of the feud?
Yeah. The Caldor question was part of the speed
The
thing.
speed round at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't
Did
see
both
it.
Dix and Scott say Caldor? Did both of you agree
Of
on that?
It did. If Tower Baron was there, he would have said Jaina. I guarantee it.
J-How. Wait, did you say
Well, I
Jada?
didn't know you were asking me a feud question right there.
That's
Who's
the whole
the-
thing.
They can say Gilly would
Wait, who went
Who's
first?
the most badass hero in the game?
ETC.
Diablo.
What was the number 1 answer for that? Did he say? I can't remember.
I forget. We did say it on the show, but I forget. I was drinking a little bit, so I don't really remember. But anyway,
is that Michael Jackson bad or is that just evil bad? I don't know. I took it as evil bad.
see, I feel like Tower Baron would be like asking those questions during the speed round
Yeah.
and trying to get clarification and ruining it for everyone.
It was Alarak. Alarak was the most badass.
Yeah.
Oh, he's up there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, who went first? Did Scott go first in the speed round or
No, Bacon went first.
Bacon went first? So Scott, I don't think Scott's gonna respond that quickly if you like interrupt his train of thought though.
He was pretty quick. He was pretty.
You know what I mean? He's like, what?
Yeah,
No,
but,
he was good.
But we won pretty easily. So, but we look forward to winning again against the Heroes Power Hour whenever that happens. If they accept the challenge to play against us.
Those guys are
all
good
right.
guys.
Yep. So our last segment is it's a pretty quick one. We got one more iTunes review from Value Bet, and this could be the greatest review of all time. This is what he said. This is not the worst podcast I've ever listened to.
Yes.
5 stars.
Five
Hashtag
stars.
5 stars.
Take
And he
it.
gave us 5 stars. So thank you, Value Bet, whoever that is.
It's literally any range from not second to last to first place. So
There you go. Yeah. So we're like
love
the fifth of the 6 that he listens to, probably.
yeah. By the way, one more iTunes review.
And no.
Fringe
let's
Average will stream his placement games
let's move past
for
that.
all the public to see and criticize and scrutinize and bastize.
All the passive aggression.
And
We'll see
we need more
passive
material for the
aggressive
show.
Bad
Someone's
size.
got to write that.
We'll
Chastise. I mean,
if we get to
I
that
said
point,
bastize, not chast.
we'll cross that bridge when it comes. But as of right now, I don't have to play Hero League.
Wait,
I mean, it's gonna come
bridges
any
don't
day.
come. Bridges don't come, man. Like you cross a bridge when you get there.
No.
No, he's getting
Oh,
one.
he was
He's
reading that
Amazon
from
Prime
the
member.
webpage.
Bridges comes to him 2 days. Free
Yeah,
shipping.
bridge come.
Yeah. So
In Soviet Russia, bridge come to you. That kind of thing.
Pretty much.
No, he's got the
Hey,
drone
man.
program. There's going to be 60 drones attached to a small bridge, and it's going to come to him. And it's going to cross it when it gets to you.
Then he'll cross it. What to
Yeah.
do?
all right. So let's end the show. Let's go to our special guest for the outro for the show this week, and I'm delaying so that Bacon can get the audio ready to go.
That's our show, and we'll see you in the Nexus.
Boom.
Woo!
All right.
All
Thank you
right.
for listening, and also thank you for watching. For everyone in the
Wait, say who that was.
Wait,
That
was the first
Slothful
female
no,
Sin.
no,
on the show.
I want it to be a secret so no one knows.
No, that's Slothful Sin. We talked about.
Okay. It's Loxley's fiance.
Beyonce.
I didn't say that. These are.
I wanted to keep it a mystery.
And that's the first female on the show. First
No,
and
so-
last.
The second female on the show.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's the female version of Voldemort.
Ah.
Not her. The previous one.
Exactly. But the first one that's actually liked being on the show. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
how
you know
about
that? Dude, you know Kim wants to be on here too.
No, she
What?
doesn't. No.
No, she doesn't.
She does.
What's she gonna do?
So she did the
Oh.
outro like that.
You know what we could do? We could have her in the background just sipping tea or something like that, but not talking. We could do that.
We can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe looking a little bit depressed.
Well, that's a current state of being.
All right, bitches,
her.
shut up.
That's our show, and we'll see you in the Nexus.
Yeah, everyone blow ASAP. Now go. Jesus, bro.
Last one was so much better.
That's the outro. That's the outro. That's the outro. We're good.
The miss.